Finally, Sooner fans get themselves some actual good news, like really good news heading into the 2025 season. So we're going to talk about that, as well as insiders dropped an article about the defensive coordinator search with the quote that was a little fascinating. So stick around. We'll talk about that on the other side, but let's dive into this. Before we do that, welcome to Unfair Sports. I'm your host, Jay. Thank you for pulling up to the channel. This video is powered by our partners at BetUS. Check them out. They're hooking up the gamer. 150% bonus on your first deposit up to $2,000 by using promo code YouTube150. So on the X-Bird, the best news possible hit for Oklahoma, and I think more is coming down the line. So prepare yourself. But defensive lineman Dominic Williams announced that he'll be back next year. One more year. Job's not finished. Shoring up that defense. So we've had arguments in the live stream on yesterday. If you didn't check it out, please hit that on the channel. We're also like 8 away from 18,000 subs. So go ahead and hit that subscribe button if you haven't done it already. Help your boy out. Get to those numbers. But we talked about this on a few occasions about this defense. Dominic Williams coming back is huge. Now we wait for R. Mason Thomas. And I'm telling you, I feel very good about both of them returning for next season, which shores up this defensive line with players that we know can play. You get Dominic, you got Grayson Holton, G-Baby, who had a really good season, as well as Jaden Jackson right there, nose tackling it up. I got to do is put a little bit more meat on them, and they are SEC ready. They've proved it. Snap-wise, shout out to my boy George Stoya, posted this not too long after the announcement. He said Dominic Williams, 416 snaps. Grayson Holton, 403 snaps. Jaden Jackson, 387 snaps. All three are back next season. That's huge because that's your anchor right there for this defense. And now all we need is Kip and Kobe to continue to develop and grow. Lead that linebacker room. Mix in some Omasigo, right? You'll mix in Kanik. He's going to have to improve at some point by playing. So to me, the defense is going to be at a point that should have y'all excited. So I'm stoked. That's the best news possible. Let me know what y'all think. Hop in the comments and let me know how you feel about that. So insiders over at On3, Pete Nakos dropped an article about the defensive coordinator search, and some of the quotes, fascinating. I want to talk about that. Shout out to our partners at BetUS. They're hooking up the gamer. 100%, 50% bonus on your first deposit. 125% bonus on your second and third deposits, all up to $2,000. But using promo code YouTube150. And right now, you still got college football playoffs. If you want to put something on it, action happens tomorrow. On the 30th, the 31st, the 1st, all the way through the weekend. If you want to jump into that action, definitely take advantage of it because BetUS is going to hook you up. They're also giving gamblers insurance. They're going to give you back 10% of your net losses twice a year, keeping you in the game. So if you want to play some games, hop in there. 150% bonus on your first deposit up to $2,000. 125% bonus on your second and thirds up to $2,000 by using promo code YouTube150. BetUS, where the game begins. So Pete Nakos had some things to say. And I'm going to tell you, yeah. It's kind of fascinating how this search is going to go. So we all know that right now Oklahoma needs a defensive coordinator. And when we talked about it on the live, the big thing we pointed out is, to be truthful and honest, Oklahoma should probably, Brent Venables should probably focus on being defensive coordinator himself. Do a promotion of James Skalski at linebacker coach and just stick with what you got. But he most likely won't. They're going to probably bring somebody in external. But this was an interesting quote. So Pete Nakos, in his article, I'm definitely going to talk about it because I thought this was pretty interesting. An industry source said this, that this job, it's a glorified grad assistant role with Brent handling everything. So I'll say this. If you feel like it's a glorified grad assistant job and Brent Venables is doing all the work, I mean, is that a bad thing for somebody taking a job? I mean, it could be in a way if you plan on growing, but I don't see how one of the best defensive minds that we've seen over the last, 15 years, I didn't say I said one of, because his defenses at Clemson were elite. And he had a really good defense this past season. How it's a bad thing that he would be involved. Now, granted, that's why we talk about like the Zach Alley situation is possibly why he decided to go, which I get. But where are we at here on thinking that it's a bad thing that Brent Venables would be involved? But I think it's funny they call it a glorified grad assistant role, because that's a very highly compensated grad assistant role if we talk about that, right? Because DC is probably going to make 7 figures here because it's Oklahoma and you're in the SEC. But I thought that was interesting in the way that that's worded. And so now the big thing for BV, even though he is 22-17, which is not too far from 500, he replaces offensive coordinator. So we should have a competent offense with someone that has been proven with numbers most recently and is actually a liked person. We now got to replace Zach Alley on defense. To me, Brent, you need to go ahead. If this is a prove it year next season, you need to go ahead and take the role. Don't put your fate in anybody else's hands. To me, you run it. Now, Brandon Hall is still one that I would totally consider because he's been Brent's right-hand man forever. And since he's been here, he's been the right-hand man. I would totally let Brandon Hall do it. He knows it inside out. Possibly have Ty Bates, even though Bates does not have experience running the defense. He's been with BV for years. Should understand the scheme. Should be able to work closely with Brandon Hall. Those two as co would be fantastic. But most likely to not, Brent Venables will be involved because he tries to be detail-oriented. May not be perfect at it, but he tries. Very good chance that he runs it. But there's a lot of names. They've been throwing out a lot of names on the list. If you want me to be honest, I don't know where Oklahoma goes on this search. And I honestly don't believe they handle it anytime soon. I do think that it's going to be a slow move, a slow burn. And we may not even know until sometime here in January. And I think that that's okay. Take your time, lick your chops, figure out what the heck you need to fix, make it happen. The good thing is the most important thing that needs to be fixed, been fixed. We've got an offensive coordinator, Ben Arbuckle, and he brought his quarterback with him, who has accounted for 3,900 yards of total offense and 44 touchdowns by himself. Do that. Now you need to just add weapons around him. So, let me know what y'all think about that good news with Dominic Williams making a valiant return. Hop in the comments. Let me know your thoughts. Made this far, like the content, go ahead and hit that like button. If you're new to the channel, subscribe. Love for y'all to join this family of Sooner fans talking OU football, SEC, college football in general. Having a blast to it. One other video out. We'll talk more about this DC search. I'm going to put together my wish list if I was to go external. And I'll probably have something out to you all sometime tomorrow. That'll probably be something to do. We'll also look at portal stuff. I mean, at this point, there's nothing else going on. May as well start looking at portal targets and see who makes sense for the Sooners to go after. So we'll do that. And shout out to BetUS. They're hooking up the game. 150% bonus on your first deposit of $2,000 by using promo code U2150. Now we'll chop it up with all of you in a day or two. Peace.